We are going to have around 15 videos in this series of MBA interview preparation. Here is the first video. A general approach towards MBA interview preparation. The macro view. In any interview that you face in your lifetime, remember that it boils down to two main points. You have to convince the interviewer on, number one, you are good enough, and number two, you are deeply interested. Remember these two main aspects, whether it is your MBA interview today or your job interview tomorrow, or any other interview you will ever face in your life. It boils down to these two main points. If you are able to convey that you are good enough and you are deeply interested, you are going to stand a very strong chance. So whatever you prepare, whatever you say in the interview, at the crux of it all is these two main points. Keep them in mind. Now, let's get on to the big picture regarding your general approach towards MBA interview preparation. There are 5 main aspects. Let us summarize the 5 aspects, and then we will elaborate on each of them. Aspect number 1. Have the correct mindset. Aspect number 2. Gain clarity about yourself, about why you need an MBA, and what are your career goals. Aspect number 3. Have stories to tell. Aspect number 4. Know your key giveaways to the interviewer. And aspect number 5. Practice. Let's begin with the aspect number 1. Having the correct mindset. Most importantly, please don't be scared. Understand that preparation is possible. Our module is anyway going to help you. Number 2, don't consider interview an obstacle in your path towards an MBA program. Consider this a part of the process. Consider this an opportunity to express yourself. Help the MBA admission committee know you better. This entire, very meaningful journey from GMAT to application to the interview process is a part of your pursuit for management education. It is a prelude to your MBA. The interview process, in particular, helps you a lot in your MBA job interviews. Do the groundwork, and when you go for the interview, feel and sound ready for it. To the interviewer, showcase your eagerness to take up management education and the willingness to go on to become a worthy business manager, a leader who will be a fine alumnus to the business school. View this interview as a discussion and not a viva. For many of us, this may be the first interview of its kind. Remember, these Global B-School interviews are different from the typical academic or subject matter-driven interviews that you may have faced so far. These interviews are a lot about having a candid discussion and talking about one's background, one's aspirations, the requirement of management education in general, and the inspiration for attending the specific B-School that you're interviewing for in particular. Aspect number 2. Gain clarity. Gain clarity about yourself. More often than not, the first question that you receive is on the lines of, "Tell me something about yourself." Either this specific question or something on the lines of, "Run me through your resume," or "Tell me a bit about your current job." Something on those lines. You must have a 2-minute summary for such questions. This may very well define the course of your interview. You must know your career highlights really well. All the specific, concrete, quantifiable items on your career. Your strengths, your areas of improvement, your functional area and industry, the recent trends, challenges, and the trajectory that your functional area or the industry is going to see over the next decade or so. And while talking about your functional area and industry, please sound very confident. We very often see students getting very nervous when questions are asked about their functional area or industry. You have significant experience in your field, and you would know so much more about your own functional area and industry. So please don't feel nervous. Feel all the more confident about such questions. In the further videos, we would talk about each of these aspects in detail. This video is for the macro view. So remember these 5 broad points for now. The next is gaining clarity about why you need an MBA. Somehow, this is often the most difficult question for the candidates to answer. that why do they need an MBA? They work so hard for their GMAT, are willing to leave their job, go spend thousands and thousands of dollars, but somehow they do not have a concrete answer to the why MBA question. If you don't have an answer, don't worry. Most applicants don't have a rich, concrete answer to this question. Just follow our guidance carefully. Your why MBA answer must answer 3 specific questions. Why this is the best time to pursue an MBA? What will be your key takeaways from the MBA program? And why are you interested in the specific school that you are interviewing with? Cover these 3 points and you will have a rich answer ready. In the further videos, we would elaborate a lot on this one. For now, just remember these 3 main points that you must address in the why MBA answer. Next, gain clarity about your career goals. Most importantly, a specific profile and industry on graduation. Avoid generic answers, such as a managerial role with an esteemed organization. Be specific about the profile and the industry. Thereafter, have midterm and long-term career goals, something like 10 years after graduation and around 20 years after graduation. Also include some sort of an impact that you wish to leave on your industry or functional area in your lifetime. Then, talk about the impact you wish to make. This way, rather than just talking about a particular position that you want to have in a particular industry, you are talking about giving back. Remember, business schools seek visionary leaders. So if you are able to show a vision in your career plans, that is going to separate you from the regular interviewees. Most candidates don't have a vision and impact to talk about. In case you have not already thought about it, it's time you did so, now. Next, have stories to tell. Remember, one fine example is worthier than a dozen claims. Have clear, concrete examples that show you in action. Have good 3 to 5 stories ready before you go for your MBA interview. The stories can be on these lines of a leadership story, a professional challenge story, a cross-cultural story, a cross-functional story, an ethical dilemma story, a failure story, an overcoming an adversity story, and so on. Think deep on these lines, and you will be surprised to see yourself that how many wonderful stories you have been a part of in your life so far. Remember, very often these stories can very well be outside your professional sphere. Next, have clear giveaways to the interviewers. Most importantly, make a list of 20 points you would want to tell the admissions committee. So if there were only one question in the interview, tell 20 things about yourself, what those 20 bullet points would be. Make this list. This will help you a lot in various questions across your interview. The 20 points can be from any of these. Please pause the video and read these carefully and prepare your notes along these lines. Next, very importantly, practice. Rehearse in front of a mirror. Have an approach. Please do not have a script. You cannot cram all the answers. You need to have a broad idea of what you want to tell the interviewer. Within that approach, go confidently for your interview. Record yourself. If you are going to be on a Skype interview, sit in front of a computer and see yourself speaking. Record and see. Observe what you can improve in your style. If possible, get yourself a mentor who can guide you. If not a mentor, at least have a buddy with whom you can practice. Relax on the eve of the interview. Very often, we see students being very anxious one day before the interview. Avoid that. Avoid any stress or anxiety one day before the interview. Take it easy. Lastly, in case you are interviewing with multiple schools, remember, the first real interview can be a great learning experience. Please retrospect and improve upon your performance. Use the first interview experience as a great learning tool and apply that learning in all the subsequent interviews. So, that was the concept, friends. To get complete grasp over your MBA interview preparation, please watch all the 15+ videos in this series. Thanks for watching.